Welcome to the Marlene Saunders Show, where we have real talk, real conversations, and you're welcome to it. Happy Monday to all of you, chat family. Hit the like, subscribe, and let's get into today's podcast. Welcome to the Blah 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 podcast. Happy Monday to all of you, chat family. Before I get into it, I have to say hi to those who are in the chat, to all my chat family. Good morning, PNG Media News. How are you doing? Happy Monday. Appreciate you being here. If you could hit the like, I'd really appreciate it. Today, I want to talk to you, chat family, that there are just some people you just can't. And we're going to talk about some of those things that we just can't do with some individuals. When I was younger, I used to force relationships. I used to force people to be in my life. I used to force support, or I thought I could force support. I thought I could force love. I thought I could force so many things. And as I've grown, as I matured, I've understood that there are some people you just can't with. And the first thing that I have to say, there are some people you just can't trust, and you have to go with that gut instinct. When your gut tells you do not trust them, or do not trust this business arrangement or this deal, our spirit always tells us when something is off. Our spirit always tells us, and it's always on point when it tells us that something is wrong with something, the deal, the whatever. When it doesn't feel right to you, it doesn't feel right for a reason. We have to listen to that, consider it, and believe that. Believe things the first time. As I've grown up, I've learned to trust that gut instinct even more, to perceive things. And especially if you hear like double talk, someone is saying something and you're like, no, that's not what you said before. If they're saying one thing and doing another, mm-mm. You just say, no, this is just not going to work. So, you have to move accordingly. As we mature, as you know things aren't right for you, and sometimes it's not that they've done something. Some people are just not meant to be for us, and I had to be okay with that. I had to have enough courage to be okay with that. The way that I grew up like people who are, your relatives or whoever, people you've known for a long time. It's like you're supposed to stick with people who continue to hurt you, and whoever needs to hear that. Let's stop that. Let's end all of that. If you know you can't trust that person, then leave them alone. Back away from them. Stop letting people hurt you and disappoint you, and then all they ever say is sorry. The impact of what they've done is just incredible. Sometimes people can cause you to lose business opportunities. The cost can be your self-esteem. Our life is worth too much, chat family. I have to remind you all of that. Your life means too much. You are too valuable. You are too important. And, somebody breaking your spirit, breaking your trust, or doing things that is very shady to you, you're too expensive. The cost of your mental health, the cost of you losing your focus, the cost of you becoming bankrupt, basically, or not having financial means, because you always have to be supportive of these people who never try to elevate or learn anything. You have to leave those people alone. We have to stop letting people use us and blindly, using the words, I love you. Just because a person says they love you doesn't mean they do. We have to end all of that conversation. We have to end all of that fake support or feeling that we have to do so much for others and they're not doing anything for us. Let's squash all that and end that. It's 2024. When we always talk about how much we love ourselves, we consider ourselves and all of those things, saying you love yourself is one thing, but doing it, but making the application because I love myself, insert whatever it is that you need to do. Because I love myself, I'm willing to sacrifice. Because I love myself, I have to cut certain people off. Because I love myself, I have to get focused. Because I love myself, I take care of me. We have to stop um, helping others before we help ourselves. I've seen it so many times, and this weekend with the situation that I'm dealing with in my life, and I'm seeing people in relationships. They choose to be in a relationship with somebody who is toxic, and we have to stop. You have to stop being in a relationship with somebody that is not serving you. It's no purpose. It's bringing you more harm, or you're always arguing. You always feel stressed out. You have to start valuing your own self. Nobody is going to do that for you. You have to give yourself that gift. Give yourself the gift of self love. Because I love myself, I don't have to lower my standard. I don't have to lower my vibration. I don't have to have the same opinion as you. I can be myself and learn that that's okay. And that's something that I had to learn. I had to learn to value myself. And there are just some things and some people you just can't. And learn that that's okay. You don't have to be on everybody else's level. You can be a trendsetter, you know? I had to learn that, learn to walk to the beat of my own drum. And there are certain people and certain things that is just not for me. And it's not because I hate anybody or I'm jealous of another person, but it's just because I'm in my lane. I'm staying in my lane and staying focused on what is meant to be for me. You know, you have to know what is meant to be for you. There are certain people that you can be with in a season because that's just where you are. And then when you elevate and you know your worth and you start, keeping your vibe positive and you're considering yourself and focusing on yourself, you just can't do what you used to do. That's where the elevation lies. That it's not because you hate or you're jealous or any of those things. You just are doing you. You're in the season of doing you and believing in yourself and taking care of you, your mental health, emotional health, financial health, and it's some people who stay the same and complain and about their life, and you just can't do it anymore. You just can't. Good morning, Mary B. How are you doing? Welcome in. I hope you're well. Happy Monday to you. Yes, Mary. Just because they don't love themselves doesn't mean we have to subject ourselves to their misery. And you know what I'd say all the time? Misery loves company, until a person chooses to stop being miserable, they're always going to be miserable. And ask me how I know, because Marlene was that way. I was a very miserable, angry, hateful, jealous woman because I didn't love myself and I wasn't doing things that I needed to do for me. I had to learn to be accountable for myself instead of looking at another person and judging them and being jealous and all of those things about what they have and what they're doing. I had to learn to not want what other people have. I had to learn to want what I need to have, because what they have, that's theirs. That's their mission, their goals, their life. What about my life, you know? I had to learn to have my own life. Yes, happy Monday. Listening to my sermon. I had to learn to love me, you know? And there's nothing else I could say besides that. Every single person elevates on their own level. And I've had people who I was cool with, or I thought I was cool with, and then it's like they dropped off, or what, for whatever reason. Maybe I irritated them, maybe I was never their vibe, maybe they were using me. But I had to learn that for myself, that everybody is not your vibe. Everybody is not somebody that you need to keep in your circle. Not everybody you should build with, and tell your personal business. And another thing that I had to learn is that there's some people that you just can't listen to. You can't listen to them because what they're saying is most of the time a lie, or they're always, making it more than what it is, or because of the things that they say, that's not like, that's not your whole vibe. It's not what you believe in. It's not part of your values. It's not where you're trying to strive for. So there's certain things and people that you just know. You can't listen to that because people will take you down. And I'm telling you, that is nothing but the truth. People will take you down if you listen to them. People will paint themselves to be like this angel of light, and there are the most evil and dark person that you will ever meet in your entire life. They paint themselves like, woe is me, and everybody is against me, when they're the culprit, when they're the person making the problems and the trouble and the drama and the foolishness. Or they don't act right, they have no accountability, they don't respect other people, they feel that they can say whatever they want to and there's no consequences. Whatever you do and say, that thing is a boomerang. And I always say, I hope that when I throw that boomerang out and it comes back to me, I hope, I pray that I have done right, that good things will come back to me. And it's one of the reasons why when people set me off, piss me off, do things to me, I don't even bother with it. I don't even deal with it, because I have so much things going on in my life. I have so much potential within me, and I'm not trying to show off or anything, or make it seem like I'm better than anybody else, but I'm in the zone where I am loving myself, and I don't have any time for negativity. I have zero time for the people who love to rant and rage and rave and complain. I have no time for it. None, zero. I have to learn to start listening to me. What does my body say? What does my mind say? What do my finances say? That's more what is important to me. Living in my present moment. And I had to learn to stop listening to that other foolish and negativity. I can't. Yes. Yes, Mary B. Just like that Titanic. Yeah, it can't be a seasonal friendship. It can't. Hey, writers, how are you doing? Welcome. Happy Monday. Hey, Shay, how are you doing? Welcome in. Appreciate you being here. Happy Monday. Yes, you do. And I said that to all my chat family. You all have so much potential in yourself. You know, you have so much potential sometimes in your little finger that some people have in their whole body. And I mean that on everything. I put that on everything. That's what I remember. That was like the 90s brandy. Put that on everything. Believe that with every fiber of your being, that it's not showing off, but you got to believe in yourself. You have to know yourself, know your potential, know your worth, know what you deserve. Okay. And stop settling. Stop diminishing your talent. Stop letting other people who are unfocused stop you from being you. It is. It's so exhausting. It's so exhausting. And there's just some people you can't, you can't. And stop trying to. Stop trying to force it, and stop listening to them, you know? But it's for a reason that they keep complaining about things. It's a reason. They complain because they're lazy, because they're unfocused, because they take no accountability, because they're angry. It's a lot of reasons that why people complain. And for my whole thing is I started from last year, stop complaining about things that I can't change. I have to swallow some things. Sometimes you're just in that season where you got a rough and tough set of cards. Don't complain about what you have to do for yourself or your life or the people that you love. Don't complain about it. Do things out of love, out of a pure heart. And if you can't do things for yourself and others out of a pure heart, don't do it. Hello, don't do it. If you don't like it, if you're complaining, if you're so miserable, then stop doing it. It's like, I don't comprehend. I don't understand. I don't just stop, chat family. We have to stop thinking we have to do everything for everybody in misery. I already stopped that a long time ago, over a year. If it doesn't fulfill me, elevate me, and do something for my spirit, for my soul, I don't do it. Like I'll say no, I'm sorry, I can't. And there is power in that. There's power in your word. There's power in, speaking that out loud, not only valuing yourself or saying you value yourself or saying you love yourself. What do I choose to do because I value me? What do you choose? I choose the greater portion. I choose peace. Okay. I choose to love myself. I choose to give back. I choose to respect myself. I choose to respect others. And when certain people are just not my vibe, or certain things is not in line with my focus and my goals and my purpose and what is meant to be for me, then I'm sorry, I just can't. I can't. And there's nothing else that I can say about that but it. I can't. Yes. Thank you, Shay. I appreciate it. I appreciate you, Mary. Yeah, you've had to sit back and watch. We learn so much by watching and listening. My kindness hinders me, but I'm working on that. Shay, something that has helped me with that, these days before I make decisions, and I'm not trying to, go all spiritual on everybody, but it's just my elevation right now at this moment. If my spirit says no, and I know that my spirit says no. And we have to be in tune with that. Be in tune with your spirit. When your spirit says, don't do that, or that's not a person to be, or you need to let them go, listen to that. Listen to that. And don't think I'm being selfish because, as women, as men, we feel that we are bad people if we don't help, if we don't support. We support and hold on to people longer than we should, and we have to, we don't help ourselves and we don't help them because that's fake support. You don't want to do it. You don't like somebody. So don't go around. Don't talk to them. Leave them alone. There's no negativity. It's nothing but love and positive vibes from me, but it's certain people that I just can't vibe with anymore because where I am in my life, because I see the potential in them, but they don't see the potential in themselves. And I mean that on everything where I am in my life. I cannot make somebody love themselves. I cannot make somebody do the right thing. I can't. That's not my job. It's not my responsibility. I can't, you know. I had to learn that, and that is my mantra for 2024. Choose yourself. I have to stop choosing other people before I choose myself. When I don't have peace of mind, I can't let somebody take my peace away. I'm too expensive, you know, where God has taken me, where I'm elevating, where my passion is in my life, helping people, supporting people, my mental health. I'm too expensive. You're too expensive to settle. You are. Stop settling for foolishness. Stop settling for crumbs or the leftovers people want to give you. You know, I'm not doing that. I'm too grown for that. I'm too grown. I call that my guardian angel. She sits on my shoulder and guides me. Sometimes I don't listen to her. Most of the time, I hit that backspace button. Yeah, I understand, Mary. I think a lot of times we don't listen when that inclination, when our spirit tells us, or for me, I say when God speaks to me, and He speaks to my spirit, and He's like, no, 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 Marlene, and you're like, why not? I'm like, they're a nice person, and I have to say this because I feel somebody needs to hear this message. It's not that you don't like the person. It's just not where you're going. And that's what people misunderstand a lot of times. People think you hate them. It's not that you hate them. It's that you love yourself. And because you love yourself and you know where you're going and they're not on that path, you have to leave some people alone. You have to walk away from them because you respect yourself. I don't hate anybody. And I hear people say all the time, I hate them. I can't stand that. No, that I have no hatred or no negativity for anybody. And God knows that to the core of me. I hate no one. Yeah, some people get on my nerves and all of that, but it's just because I'm a human being. But I remove hatred from me. I don't hate anybody. I dislike the way other people act or react. I hate that some people are immature. That part I hate. But I don't hate anybody because of just where I am, because of the light that is inside of me. And the more that you elevate your light, the more you tap into, who you are, what you are, where you're going. You have no time for anything that holds you down, drags you down, puts a weight on your head or your heart that affects your mental health. You're too expensive. Do you all hear me when I say that? You all are too expensive. You are. I know I am. Okay. I know I am. And I put in work to feel that way. I put in a lot of work inside of myself. You guys have no idea. And only the people who have ever been to the rock bottom place, when you have lost everything, when you've lost respect from other people, when you have lost respect for yourself, when you have no self esteem. I've been to that place, that pit. And as I called, I've been down that rabbit hole to where I've done wrong things and I needed to be in that rabbit hole so that I could learn a lesson. You have to stop doing X, Y, and Z, or you wouldn't be down here. So I had to learn to mature. I had to learn to be responsible, accountable, respect myself, respect other people, and learn my own lane. I had to learn my own lane. And that's all, everything. It's everything when you know your lane. And it does, and I don't feel dragged down anymore. I don't feel a lot of people taking from me anymore because I realize when someone is withdrawing and not adding to my life. And anybody who does not add to your life, you need to subtract them. And I learned that from my daddy. I miss you, Daddy, every single day. My daddy taught me so many lessons, and I it's like you hear it, and then later in your life, it's like I finally got it. So, like when someone is teaching you something for your entire life, and you're looking at them like, what they talking about? Sometimes we are buffering, as I call it. You don't get it, like what they are telling you. It's a life lesson, like, and you're like, okay, and you just shrug your shoulders. But later on you're like, oh, wow, if only I got it then. But you didn't. You get things when you're meant to get it. You learn the lesson when you are ready to receive it. And there were so many times I was not ready to receive the lessons. I know I wasn't. It's like people will be teaching you, you know, people will be, what I call it, baptizing you. People will be baptizing you in a lesson for your life. There's some people who teach you so many things, and some not always in a good way. You know, the I always look at my life when someone does something and it hurts me. They baptize me in courage. They dipped me down, boy. I learned the lesson. You dipped me down, and when I came back, I'm telling you, when you snap back after that lesson, oh boy, did I learn. Sometimes we have to hurt to heal. Some people hurt you so much, hurt you so much, so much. And that's from the pit of my soul. They hurt you so much that when you come back, when you snap back, that's not something you have to learn again, because you've grown, you've matured, you've experienced personal growth. Mm, 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 mm. You've learned the lesson. Yes, it's just a headache to deal with. It is. It is, Shay. Especially when I was nothing but a great friend to that person. But I'm at peace with it. I live and I'm learning. And that's all that's important, everybody. See, we don't want to be ones that keep doing the same things. I did that for years, and I'm telling you, it doesn't work. The longer that you take to humble yourself, and I know for many of us, stubborn, you want what you want it when you want it, how you want it. You're not going to listen to anybody because they're trying to help you, but you're not ready to be helped. I had to learn that for myself. Until you're ready to be helped, until you're ready to learn the lesson, until you're ready to respect yourself and to respect others, your life will never elevate. You're going to be in the same pit, in the same space. You will not grow until you allow yourself to grow. that was uh that was where I was in my life. Until I was ready to mature, I wasn't going nowhere. And I definitely had to learn that there are some people you just can't respect. Respect is earned. It is. Respect is earned. So we have to learn to respect our own self. Respect you. Don't wait for people to respect you. You demand the respect. And if you see after you talk to them that they're not getting it, they won't get it, then you walk away. You block them. You stop feeding into, you can't change them. No matter how much you get mad, how much you scream, how much you yell, people will not change until they want to change, until they're ready to change. So you got to leave certain people alone, but don't allow people to disrespect you. If you see that that person does not respect you, you have to move on from them. If you see a person does not respect other people, like my mama used to say with her Southern Jamaican self, baby, there are some people that you just cannot grow up. You can't. There are some people you can't grow them up until they're ready to grow, until they're ready to be accountable, until they're ready to respect themselves. They will never respect you. Hmm. And that took me a long time to get that. Hey, Joe. Good morning. Good morning. How are you doing? Until until you learn to respect yourself, you know. And I had to take some time to think about that. I took a trip through Europe. Um, was that 2017? I took a trip through Europe because I needed some time by myself because I was going through a lot of things. 2017 was a really hard and dark period of time for me. I had lost both my mother and my father back to back within 7 months, and I just was not mentally stable. So I had to take a mental health trip, and just be by myself and think, like, what is my life? Who am I? What am I doing? What's my reason? What's my purpose now? Because sometimes our purpose is inside of other people, and then when they pass away, or when they leave, or you break up with them, whatever the relationship is, you feel like, now what is my purpose now? You feel like, I felt like I lost myself. Like, who am I? Because for all of my life, I had defined myself as a daughter. And now that my parents were gone, I was like, so what is my purpose now? And I had to go inside of myself and spend some time with myself, and realize that I am more than a daughter. You know, first of all, I'm precious. I'm a precious child of God. I'm a gift. And until you know that you're a gift, until you know that you're special and valuable, if you don't learn to value yourself first, you will find your value only in other people. And I had to, mm, boy, I'm telling you, if you have not never taken a trip by yourself to purify yourself, and after certain breakups and certain things happen in your life, sometimes you just need to take a trip just by yourself, just for your mental health. And I had to, because I was losing my mind. How was that trip? Oh, that trip, it was phenomenal. I learned so many things about myself on that trip. I took a long time. I think that was the first time after losing my mom and dad. When I took that trip, it was like maybe 4 or 5 months after I had lost my mom, because my dad passed in October of 2016, and my mom passed May of 2017. And it was like, I didn't really process it until October, the fullness of it. And I was like, oh my God, I don't have my dad or my mom. And it's like, I felt like an orphan. I felt I had no protection. I was like, who am I now? I felt like I was nobody anymore. And I had to learn to redefine my reason, my purpose, my joy. And, I got back into therapy. I got back into doing things for me, because sometimes when we go on those trips, um, we don't really realize that we have stopped taking care of ourselves the way that we should. And to all of you who have children, spouses, or significant others, or, friends, or you're a caregiver, or you have demanding work, we put so much effort and energy into other people, but we don't match that same energy inside of ourselves. If we're going to give 40 hours to work, and this is something that I had to enact for myself, I had to I put 40 hours into work. I have to put 40 hours into myself, so that I can replenish what I took out. And many of us don't do that, but I'm going to talk about that on a different podcast. But I do think that it's important to do. Yeah, it was a lot. And then after that, after I came back from that sabbatical, as Joe says, then I lost my auntie. So it was just like, I felt like I had just recovered from the two losses. And then I had a third one. My auntie passed. And then a month later, I miscarried. So it's just a lot. I went through a lot in 2017. I always said it's a miracle that I'm still here. Like, when I say my heart literally broke in 2017, literally it did. hmm It did. But, but, um, it shows that, we are more than the ones that are in our life and the ones that aren't. I had to learn that whoever whoever leaves my life, whether it's by choice or it's by, protecting myself, I never will do that ever again, seeing myself inside of who loves me. I learned that lesson. I had to learn the lesson, and I never have to learn that lesson again. I am not defined by who loves me. I'm defined by what I do, what I say, who I am. You are not the summation of who loves you. You are who you are, you know. That's just it. And I have defined myself as daughter. I defined myself as niece, and I defined myself as mother. So what happens if any of those relationships end? And even in your marriage, even in your romantic interest, if that ends, who are you if all of those relationships become severed? If all of those people leave your life, have you ever thought about that? Who am I, even if all of these relationships no longer are here? I had to purify my own self and redefine who I was. Okay. Okay. I'm not a daughter anymore. Okay. I'm not a mom anymore. Okay. I'm not a niece. So who am I? And I really learned during that trip who I was. I am more than just, um, uh, I'm more than just who they need to be. I'm more than just a label. Hmm Yeah, I'm more than just a label, and you are more than just a label. Whoever comes in your life, whoever leaves your life, whoever hurts you, whatever, you're more than just a label. You did that after you lost your dad, 10-day mental health sabbatical. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that, Joe. My condolences. I hope that you're better. Yes, Shay. Yes, replenish. I had to learn to replenish. And for so long, I had not replenished myself. I had not replenished my spirit. You know, when you're doing so much, like, especially having older parents. My parents were up in age, and I was doing so much for them that I was doing so much neglecting to myself. And it's for whoever needs to hear this. When you're a caregiver to others, make sure you're caregiving yourself. And I had stopped doing that, stopped taking care of my hair, stopped going to doctor's appointments, stopped exercising, stopped eating right. I was just eating nothing but garbage, drive through, or just, barely eating a few things because I had to go, always running from one task to the next. But I'm a task. I'm a priority. And I had put myself very low on the totem pole. I did. And we don't realize that we're doing it a lot of times, like not taking care of our hair, our teeth, going to appointments, taking care of our mental health, not getting sleep. But we always think that we should be there and available to everybody, but we're not being available to myself. And I never have to learn that lesson again. Anytime I feel certain way, hmm I was like, time for a break, time for another sabbatical, time for another replenishment, you know? Yes, I'm I can't even say I'm stronger than ever because I'm a completely different person. That trip changed my life. It really changed my life because I don't think before that trip I had actually had reasonable and attainable goals for myself, and reasonable and attainable expectations. A lot of times we expect things from others, but we're not expecting the same things from ourselves. We expect people to do certain things for us and be there for us, but we're not being there for ourselves. And the only one that can change that is us. You're the only one that can change your life. You're the only one. And that's what I had to say to myself. I remember, being in that hotel room. Let me tell you, the first 2 days of that trip, I did nothing but cry. I cried from the time I just dropped my bags in the room and I just fell on the bed, and I felt like the curtain of all my pain just ripped into two. And the realization of all of that pain came onto me. And I cried and I cried and I cried and I cried. Did I say I cried? And I cried and I cried and I cried. I cried for every pain. I cried for losing my parents. I cried for my mom losing my dad. I cried for my dad seeing my mom hurt. I cried for me seeing my parents hurt. I cried for my siblings losing their parents. I cried for my nieces losing their grandparents. I cried for everything. And that helped me so much. And whoever needs to hear it, it's nothing wrong with crying. Sometimes you just need to have a good cry and purify your heart. We think sometimes as women and as men that it's a sign of weakness to cry. No, it's a sign of strength. It's a sign of knowing how much you can handle. And sometimes we try to handle too much. We do. We try to handle too much. I didn't think I could make it with my dad being gone. 8 months later, I got pregnant with my son. I had a dream, and in that dream, he told me he sent my son to me. Wow. I'm so sorry to hear about your dad, Mary B. I hope you're stronger than you were before. Shay says, I needed this word. Talk about confirmation as always. No problem. Yes. And that's the thing, Mary B. I love my mother. Y'all don't get me wrong. I love my mother. But there's nobody like my daddy. Nobody can ever be my daddy. Nobody can ever fill that hole. And I have to talk about that on another live stream, but nobody can fill certain holes inside of yourself. It's the reason why people get into vices. They relationship hop because you're trying to fill in what you're missing. But you have to work on yourself. You have to learn to be okay with them not being here. You have to fill in that void. You have to give yourself the time to have those conversations and to say, I should have been there, or I was, I did the best that I could. You have to have those conversations. We have to stop stuffing down our pain and let ourselves feel it. Let ourselves face it, okay? So that you can be okay. It will affect you mentally. It will affect you physically if you don't. It really will. Good morning, Miss Tracy. How are you doing? Welcome in. Appreciate you being here. You will. You will be affected if you ignore it. Ignoring your pain does not help you. And I don't know why I did it. And sometimes I find myself going back to that because that's what I've been used to. Because you have to grind and hustle and yet pay bills and do this, you're spreading yourself too thin. But you have to know when it's time to say, okay, now I do scheduled vacations because I am not going to choose a vacation. I'm not. But every time I know when it's a season, it's a new season, I know it's time to replenish my mind, my body, and my spirit. Everybody, at least 4 times a year, you should be taking a vacation or a trip somewhere. And it doesn't have to be no long, expensive place. You can do a staycation. You could do a vacation in in your own city where you live, but you need to get away from where you presently live and go and do some things. Go and do some things just for you, not for anybody. That's what you call filling up your cup. And life is going to happen. People are going to get mad when you have to leave. But if you don't take care of yourself, all people will ever say is, "Oh, they were a good person," when you're no longer around. Save yourself now, because you may not be able to later. Yes, definitely put yourself first. You can't take care of others if you don't take care of yourself. You can't, Mary. You can't. Yes, show replenishment, you know? Yeah, it's something about daddies. I don't know. It's one of the most, I don't know. It fulfills me in a way that I never, you never could imagine. Just like I can't say I know what it feels like to be a granddaughter. I've never had a grandparent. So every relationship is different, but I'm telling you that when you have a daddy that loves you, mm, and I mean, my dad showed me how a real man acts, how a real man takes care of his family and loves his daughter. And yeah, so that was a blessing for me. And because of that, I can't accept foolishness from men in these streets who don't know who they are, little boys. I can't, because my daddy taught me. My daddy taught me how, I saw by example how he treated my mother. My parents had 10 children, and mm, I was like, they don't make them like that anymore. Loyal, loving, compassionate, understanding, you know? You don't see that anymore. People just don't stay in relationships like they used to. I feel like that's probably old fashioned. Some people think it is. The way that I saw my mom respect my dad, and how my dad respected my mother, and how they worked together as a unit to take care of their children, you know, when they didn't have to. There's a lot of times they didn't have to do things, but they did it anyways. Hmm. It taught me so much. That's why them leaving my life was so hard for me, because I depended on them. But I learned when I took that trip that they gave me everything that I needed, and now it was time for me to make application of everything that they poured into me. Now it's time for me to pour into others. And I feel that when I use my platform, I feel like I'm spraying out, I'm spewing out all the knowledge, all the wisdom, all the kindness, all the compassion that they poured into me. And I'm grateful. I am so grateful that I'm here. I'm so grateful to be able to use my platform to spread awareness. I'm so grateful that I'm no longer in a negative space. I am so grateful for peace. Peace is something that I was constantly seeking, and I don't have to be angry anymore. I don't have to be negative. I don't have to evaluate myself inside of other people. I don't have to be jealous of anybody. All I have to be is me, not a representation, not, not comparing myself to anybody else. And it feels so good. It feels so good to be yourself, that I don't have to show up as a character. I don't have to remember a storyline. I can just speak, and I don't have to fake anything. It feels good. It certainly does. Oh, thank you so much, Joe. Yes, go on those getaways. Yeah, it's much needed. It really is. Give yourself that replenishment. Mm, yeah, yeah, that's how I am. And a lot of people don't understand that, Shay and Chad and anybody who listens in the replay. People will say that you have Your standards are too high, or you'll never meet somebody, or nobody will ever. Oh, who cares? Who cares what you think? I'm the one that has to be fulfilled. I'm the one that has to be happy. I'm the one that has to love myself. And will never, ever settle again. I never, ever will settle. Ever. Because I know myself and I love myself. And that's something that I didn't have before. Hmm. Exactly, Mary. Exactly. And one of the things that I have to say is that, there's certain people that you just can't build with. No matter how much you want to build, how much you want to be in a collective, be in a group, there are certain people that you can't build within a collective, in a group, because they don't want to build. They don't want to grow together. They only want for them to experience growth, for them to be, elevating. And when you elevate, when you get on their level, or when you surpass them, then they hate you. That always shows me who somebody really is. People will rock with you as long as you are on their level. But when you get on their level, or when you pass them, now they hate you. And you're like, what change? No, some people just don't want you to do better than them. They're fine as long as you stay underneath them. Oh, you're cool, because they, as long as they can, have their foot on your neck, or they can step on you, or you can be their doormat, their little go person, do this and do that, then of course they'll build with you then. But anytime you start experience growth, or you have peace and joy, or you're getting accolades, there are some people who don't like to see you winning. They don't like to see you, others, celebrating you, and telling you how good you are, because some people, they love attention. They're attention seekers, okay? You can't build with people who don't want to build. And they'll say it all the time. Oh, yeah, let's build. And then as soon as you start building and things are going well for you, no, they want you to build with them, but they don't want to build with you. They don't want anybody to see how good you are, you know, that you have potential, that you have gifts, and you're using them. See, that's the difference. That's one thing that I learned in my life. People don't like to see that you've learned, that you're more mature, that you're not the same person that you were. Anyhow, I'm staying in the same space for too long. That makes me feel strange. Like, how come I'm still doing that? How come I'm still with the. You should never be in the same situation for too long. You have to have people that leave your life. It's all a part of life. It's all a part of growing and maturing. You can't build with everybody. You can't grow with everybody, because sometimes people show up as a character. And then when that mask falls off and you find out who they were, you're like, oh, that's why I couldn't build with them, because they're not who they say they are. Uh, they're talking and acting differently than they used to. But that was really the real person. Who showed up the first time, or for that period of time, was just a representation, just a fake, you know. So we have to realize that some people that we want to build with them, sometimes we get deceived, and it's okay. Then you move on. Don't get upset, angry, shouting, yelling. One of the things I've learned in my maturity, when I find out who somebody is, the first thing I say out of my mouth is thank you. Thank you for the awareness. Thank you for the realization. Now I don't have to waste my time, my effort, and my energy on them. Don't be upset and angry and how come and why and they did this and why did it. No. Elevate everybody, mature. You look, they showed you who they needed to show you. And that's not your vibe. That's not who I can build with. That's not who I can trust. That's not who I can listen to. And then you move on. It's simple. Don't get upset, don't get angry. Just be grateful that you're no longer wasting your time, because time is too precious to waste on anybody. It really is. It really is. Yes, ma'am. That's on point. It's sad, but it's a fact. It is. Yeah. You can't just build with everybody. I tried it. I tried to build with people, and I'm not throwing rocks or at anybody, but it's in certain communities, people that are low income, who don't have much, and you can't put, diamonds into people who only will have ever seen cubic zirconia. And not that they don't want to get the diamonds, but if that's all they're used to and that's all they think they can deserve, then is some people, you can't elevate their mindset because their mindset is focused on, this is all I can do, this is the best I can do. And I had to learn that you can't throw out diamonds to everybody, because they're not going to receive it. They'll say, oh no, I can't do that. They've already told themselves that they can't. And that saddens me a lot. And I have to say, I didn't come from much. I grew up, not having much. We didn't have much growing up, but my mindset told me that I wanted more, that I don't have to settle, you know? And for me, I knew I wanted more. So that meant I was going to have to do something different. You can't expect to put out the same thing and do what everybody else is doing and think that you're going to elevate. You have to do something completely different. You have to go to different communities. You have to learn about other cultures. You have to grow so that your life can change and shift. I had to learn that myself. And I hope that what I said was not offensive to anyone, but I'm just being realistic. You can't throw your diamonds out there to people who only have ever seen cubic zirconia. You have to give diamonds to people who want diamonds and who are a diamond. You know, yeah, that's yeah, that's just the reality of it. Can't build with everybody, and this is my last point, everybody. I've learned that there are some people that you just can't help. You just can't help everybody. You can't. I tried that for so very long. I learned that I can't help you. You know, until a person wants to be helped, you can't help them. You can tell people, you have so much potential. You could do this, this, and this. But if they don't think they can do something, you're wasting your time, your effort, and your energy. Nobody can be helped until they want to be helped, until they want to grow up, until they want to be accountable, until they want to stop doing the wrong thing, until they learn to know themselves and love themselves and be their own friend, until you fix your past so that you can live in your present. And I know that was for sure for me. Until I healed what hurt me, I couldn't let myself live in my present. And I had a lot of difficulties, traumas, experiences, and I was allowing it to make me angry. But I had to be accountable for that part, not blaming other people. That, yes, some things happened to me was other people's, um, um, what they did to hurt me. But there's other things, my attitude. I'm in control of my attitude. I'm in control of what I do. I'm in control of my focus. That's nobody else's responsibility but mine. And I had to receive that and be fully accountable for me. We can't blame other people because our life isn't going a certain way. You have to ask yourself, what am I doing and what am I not doing? Am I being lazy? Am I being responsible? Am I going after what I'm supposed to do? Am I being consistent? Am I loving myself? Do I respect myself? Am I respecting others? Am I a good example? It's all of those things that I had to learn for myself. I had to learn how to love me. I had to learn that. And it's not something that you're taught in school. It's not something anybody can give you. It's a gift that you have to give yourself. I had to learn how to love me. I had to learn how to respect me. I had to learn how to have a positive attitude. I had to learn that, when things are hard, to not give up. I had to learn to be consistent. I had to learn how to be a good friend to myself, you know, and it's not something that anybody taught me. I had to learn how I needed to be loved. I had to learn how to be my own friend so that I could be a good friend to others. Until you learn you, until you learn what you can do, learn your own talents, your own gifts, your own individuality, and learning that my individuality does not take away from anybody else's, that's when my life started changing. I can look at another person and say that they're beautiful, that they're doing great. I know how to celebrate others because I know how to celebrate myself. I know that my gift, me walking in my gifts and using my gifts, does not diminish another person's. I can look at another person and see them having millions of dollars, lots of fans, great things happening for them. And I don't fold my hands and become that green, jealous monster. I don't, because I have already worked on myself, and I know that what I'm doing over here in my life, in my lane, is for me. My life is not less than because of what they're doing. Once you start getting into yourself and knowing yourself, walking in your life and your light and your path and your passion for life, and it wasn't until I did that that I could stop being jealous. If you don't ever do anything with your life, all your eye is going to do is focus on what another person is doing. And that's real. Until I learn to stop taking my eyes off of what other people are doing and get my eyes back on, but what are you doing, Marlene? Getting real with myself, getting accountable with me. Until I learned to respect myself, I couldn't respect another person. And I didn't understand how deep that went until I knew me and loved me and got busy and started busting my hump. Like, you can't sit down and do nothing. You can't keep being lazy. You can't keep procrastinating and not being consistent. And then looking at another person who has never stopped grinding, who has never stopped being consistent, and think that you're going to have and be what they are. You got to get up and make your life happen. Make it happen. Yeah, that's the reality of it. It really is. Yeah, you just can't build with anyone. You can't. Yes, live, learn, and move on. You have to. And it is rough. Yep. Diamonds are created under pressure. Yeah, you have to stay alert and watch your circumstances. You do. Hey, Leticia, good morning. How are you doing? Happy Monday. I hope all is well with you. I had to ask myself why I chose my circle. I'm in charge of whom I choose to have access to me. And that's one of the things that I didn't understand fully, Joe and chat. I didn't understand how important the people that we talk to, the people that, we watch, the things that we listen to, the things that we are entertained by, it's a representation of who we are. And I had to stop listening to the negativity because their negativity was becoming mine. You ever, like, they're like, oh yeah, and who cares? And yeah, and doing those things, talking about other people, it started to diminish myself on the inside. I can't speak for anybody else. All I can do is speak for me, and that started to take me down and drag me down. So, from there on out, I only can listen to positive content. I can only listen to things that are motivating and inspiring. Not that, sad and dark things don't happen, but I try my best to not allow it in my world because I know myself. I'm an empath, and it really affects me when I see a lot of pain and hurt and Gossiping, I know how that makes another person feel because I've been on that other end of gossip. So I can't hang with it. But that's me. And that's the thing about life is you have to know yourself. You have to know what fulfills you, what makes you happy, and what doesn't. And there are certain things that just did not fulfill me. Yeah. Good morning, Sirius. How are you doing? Welcome in. Appreciate you. And that's one of the things that I definitely had to learn. I hope all is well with you, Sirius. Welcome in. That's one of the things that I had to learn for myself is that it was okay, in talking about help. I spent so much time in my life running from help because, that's the way I was raised. You do for yourself, you grind for yourself, be a woman, be grown. But part of being grown too is knowing your limits. And I had to learn my personal limits, learn that it was okay. It's nothing wrong when you don't know something. Don't pretend that you know something and you don't. That's part of being a grown woman, part of being a grown man, knowing your limits, knowing that certain things is not meant to be for me. Certain people aren't meant to be for me. Certain agendas and motives, building with people. Not everything is meant to be for you. And you have to be mature enough to realize that. I can't build with this person. I can't grow with this person. I can't trust this person. I can't respect this person because it diminishes my own. Yeah, that was a life lesson for me. Oh, I'm awesome. Serious. Thank you so much. And that's something that I had to learn for myself. I had to learn, I can't help others that don't want to help themselves. And I'm a very giving person. I'm a very kind person. I think a lot of times I give too much, but I had to cut that off. Not that I stopped helping people, but I had to learn to stop helping others before I help myself. You know, put your oxygen mask on yourself first. So that was one thing that I had to learn that part, and learning to say no so that I could say yes. There are so many things in my life that I wanted to do, and of course I can't do it. You can't do it if you're pulled in every direction. You got your kids, you got your job, you got your relatives, you have this person, you have your friends, you got your romantic interests, and everybody is pulling you in in a direction. Help me, help me, help me, and you're in the middle being pulled to every direction. You're gonna have to train people how to treat you. I will if I can, but if I can't, I won't. And that was where I got my power back, is learning to set those boundaries and not allowing people to use me. And it happens very subtly, helping your kids, helping in the workplace. Like they always give you the accolades and say you're such a good employee, and you're so good in this, and can you do this, and can you work extra. And sometimes you will, and sometimes you don't. If you want to, then do that. But if you don't, then don't. Mean it and stick to it. We have to learn to stick to what we believe in. We have to pay attention to our bodies. How is your mental health? Is your mental health good enough to handle the situation or handle these people? And if not, it's going to be a no. And if they ask why, tell them, I don't have to tell you why. I'm a grown woman. I'm a grown man. Because no is no. You don't have to explain why you're not doing what you're doing. And people will be very confused during this time when you learn to speak up for yourself, when you start setting those boundaries. Hmm. I'm telling you, it's for real. That just happened Right now at work, everybody is high stress over this new computer system, and I'm not trying to stress it. Don't, Mary B. Don't. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry you missed your meeting, Joe. Yeah, leave me out of your stress. And there are so many people that they will come with all their foolishness and they will dump it all on you. You know, the job, your kids, person you're in a relationship with, friends. So many relationships will come with all of their baggage and they will unpack it on you. They will. They will unpack it on you. They will unpack it. Let me tell you. People love to give other people their mess, or they want you to fix their situation. They want you to fix their life. They want you to do all of these things for them, but they don't do anything. But they're not accountable. But they don't respect others, or they make poor decisions, and then they expect for you to bail them out of it. Oh, you're welcome, Joe. And that's one of the things that we have to learn. You know, I had to learn that for myself too, that it was okay to ask for help. And my whole life I grew up never asking for help. I would not know how to do my homework in school. I would not know how to do certain things. I wasn't very sure about certain people, but I would never ask questions. I was not listening to my own self when it was like, no, or you need to leave them alone, or you need to ask a question, because I didn't want to humble myself. I didn't want to say, I don't know. I don't understand. And I'm telling you, everybody, you really learn so many lessons when you know that you don't know and then you allow yourself to learn. And I don't mean just asking anybody questions. I mean asking the right people, asking the people who will listen to you. They will understand you. They will support you, because I've heard people say, ask questions. No, don't just ask questions to anybody. Ask the right people who are handling their business, who are respectful, who are good listeners, who have good things going, who are somebody that are good mentors and good people. Don't don't ask questions to everybody. Mm-mm. There's not everybody you want to be on their team, or you want to get their thoughts, because they have a lot of misinformation, or they're a very negative person, or they just tell a lot of lies. Mm-mm. Don't align with everybody. Please don't. Please don't. Exactly. When I cross that road, I'll deal with it. They didn't train us, they left us to figure things out. So it is what it is. I know. And that's how life is, right? It is. That's how life is. There's a lot of things that we just have to figure out in this life. And one of those things is, figuring out who you build with, who you listen to, who you trust, who you give your heart to, and who you become friends with. Um, it's very important lessons in life that we have to learn who to trust, who to build with, and who to listen to. Stop listening to the foolishness of other people, and stop, inserting yourself in other people's issues. I can't stand that. I hate to hear when people put themselves into a situation that has nothing to do with it. Say somebody is venting over some issue they had with somebody, and they will go and insert themselves in the problem. Like, let other people have their issues. Let them fix their relationship. I stop inserting myself into other people's problems. You need to deal with your problems. Or if you know a person always makes poor decisions, it's not your responsibility to bail them out after they make the poor decision, especially if you know that they could have made a better decision, or they could have done the right thing, or they, just don't care. And, and they'll have that attitude. I don't care. I don't care. I do what I want. And other people better get in line and they better listen to what I have to say. And then when, the bottom falls out, hmm, you know, when the bottom falls out and now they actually do have to face what they've done, what they've said, the people they've hurt, the consequences now come to follow. Now they're panicking. Hmm. Now, now figure it out. Figure it out. I can't help you. It's a different thing when life happens to people. People, will get laid off, situations beyond your means, and they need help and support. That's one thing. But I mean the people who just they don't care. They show up to work late, they have an attitude, they hurt people, they cheat on their spouse or significant other. And then when the consequences happen of all of that, or they backstab people, or they use people, and then when people find it out, you know, you get back what you put out. You put out negativity, you put out pain, you put out hurt, you put out using. One day somebody's going to come and hurt you. And I am not a person that likes to see that, but what goes around comes around. What you do to somebody, it's going to come back to you. And I always have seen that when things come back to people, it comes out worse than what they've done. That's why I always try my best to, when I know that somebody is not my vibe, or I know that I can't elevate with that person, or I know that they are doing a lot of backstabbing and hurting other people, I just leave people alone. You have to let some people come to the realization that they need to stop or they need to grow up on their own. And that's just what it is. So, I know I chatted a lot. I'm going to get up out of here. I hope something that I said was helpful to somebody. And I have to say, there are some people you just can't. You can't trust. You can't listen to. You can't respect. You can't build with. And you can't help. And that's all I can say about that. So thank you so much for tuning into today's podcast. I appreciate every single one of you, chat family. And to thank you so much to all of those who came to the giveaway, the 800 subscriber giveaway. And if you are watching in the replay, hit the like and leave me a comment in the comment section below. I hope that something that I say in my podcast will be something that will affect one of you, get you to thinking, help you to mature, to have conversations. Because over here on the Marlene Saunders Show, we have real talk, real conversations, and you are welcome to it. I appreciate every single one of you. Joe says, yes, because if they'll just drop us like that, they drop this new system on you and make you figure out. That's a good lesson. Choose people around us smarter. Yes. Hi, Tamika. I'm just about to jump off of here. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you all. Everybody have a great rest of your day. Appreciate you all. And I'll see you guys on tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you for tuning in to the Marlene Saunders Show, where we have real talk, real conversations, and you're welcome to it. If you have not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe now. I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye bye.